The journey from level 1 to 80 can be long and time intensive, but there are ways you can make it a lot quicker and easier. And in this video, I will be giving you the best tips for every level all the way up to level 80. So these are the amounts of XP you will need for each of these milestone levels up to 80. And from level 71 to 80, you will also need to do some level up tasks as well as the XP requirement. But before I get into the tips for the tasks, what are the best ways to get XP? Firstly, excellent throws. Catching with an excellent throw gives you a bonus 1000 XP per catch, and this can be multiplied up with catch XP bonuses from events. For example, community days sometimes have the bonus of 3 times catch XP. That means you can get 3000 XP per catch with an excellent throw, or over 6000 XP per catch if you have a lucky egg active. So well worth keeping an eye out for this event bonus, but even generally outside of events, it's definitely worth doing as many excellent catches as you can because it will help you get fast XP. I would also keep an eye out on spotlight hours as well because they do offer some great XP bonuses. Usually there's one a month that does offer 2 times catch XP, so that's a good event to play with lucky eggs active. And another spotlight hour to look out for each month is the 2 times evolution XP spotlight hour. This is the type of event that you should be holding on to low evolution cost Pokemon for. Pokemon like Caterpie, Weedle, Pidgey, etc. that only require 12 candy to evolve, because with a Pineapple Berry you can get enough to evolve them after only 2 catches. So holding on to this category of Pokemon is really useful, and also Pokemon that you can mirror trade to reduce the candy cost of evolution down to 0. Pokemon like Phantump, Roggenrola, Shelmet, and Carablast as some examples. Then when the Spotlight Hour does go live, you can evolve all of them with a lucky egg active. It's also worth evolving any Pokemon you haven't evolved before during this time, because you do get an extra 1000 XP for a new Pokemon you haven't registered into your Pokedex yet. So generally it is worth taking advantage of any event that offers XP bonuses, and it is worth taking a little bit more time to get these excellent throws if you can, because you will get a lot more XP doing this instead of just trying to catch Pokemon really quickly. Do however make sure that you use the quick catch method to skip the Pokeball shaking animation. This saves a lot of time and is well worth learning if you haven't learned it yet. And when you aren't able to play the game, it's a good idea to have an auto catcher playing in the background, getting you catches and spinning Pokestops, because whilst it doesn't seem like a lot of XP, it will all add up, and it's passive XP that you can get whilst you're doing something else. And while spinning Pokestops and gyms doesn't give you a lot of XP, it's just 100 XP per spin. For your first spin of the day, you do get a bonus 500 XP, and any Pokestops you haven't spun before will get you a bonus 300 XP. So maybe it's worth trying to go somewhere you haven't played before where there are a lot of Pokestops. And you can see which Pokestops you haven't spun before because they do have a white ring around them. And for spinning a Pokestop once a day for 7 days in a row, you will get an extra 2000 bonus XP for that. And another great way to build XP is through friendship. Getting as many active trainers on your friends list as possible is worth it, so you can interact with them daily through gifts, raids, trading, battling, etc. and slowly build the friendship level. You get 50,000 XP when you become an ultra friend with somebody, and you get 100,000 XP becoming best friends, which can also be doubled up with a lucky egg as well. So definitely worth trying to sync up your friendship level increases with multiple people at the same time, so you can get more value out of a lucky egg. I would also recommend raiding during raid hours and raid days, because the raids will be active on all gyms, so you can do more raids within the time limit of a lucky egg, and you will get 10,000 XP per 5-star or mega raid. And Gmax battles are a great way to get XP as well. They do reward 25,000 XP per battle, which is 50,000 with a lucky egg, and you do also have the option of doubling up your rewards with 200 Pokecoins if you want to, so this will get you 100,000 XP per battle, plus the additional 10,000 you can get from battling in person. However, the fact that these are remote raidable is really useful because you can do more battles within the time limit of a lucky egg. And even if you can't do Gmax battles, doing 1-star max battles, which are really easy to solo, will be really useful because you will get 5,000 XP per battle plus the 2,500 for winning in person, and you can do 3 or 4 of them a day for free. And battling 3-star max battles, which are generally fairly easy to solo as well, will give you 7,500 XP per battle plus the in-person bonus. So definitely worth doing these if you can't do Gmax battles, or if there just aren't any Gmax battles active at that time. I would also recommend taking part in any Pokestop showcases you can, especially more rural located ones, so you got more chances of winning, because that will be a good way to get some free XP as well. So these are the best ways to get XP, but what about the level up tasks? So for each of these level up requirements, you are going to need an increasing amount of platinum medals, starting with 15 for level 71 all the way up to 50 for level 80. And you do probably have quite a few of these from normal gameplay already, but there are some ways you can speed up your progress on these. So firstly, there are platinum medals that you can get for catching 2,500 of each type of Pokemon. And if there are any of these medals you haven't got, do keep an eye out on current events going on in game, because sometimes you'll have events that feature a certain type of Pokemon, and specifically community days are really useful for this, with them featuring one Pokemon of a certain type for the whole duration of the event. And sometimes it is a Pokemon that has two types, so that can double up the platinum medals. And generally though, community days are some of the best events to work on platinum medals because of all of the bonuses they offer. As well as the potential for progressing your type platinum medals, you also get 5 snapshot photobomb encounters on community day that will help you with your cameraman medal. With lure modules lasting for an hour and spawning the com day Pokemon up to 4 hours after the event ends that have boosted shiny rates, you can use this to your advantage to progress your platinum picnicker medal, especially if you do put lure modules down in populated areas where there are a lot of people playing. You can also get extra special trades, and all trades will require 50% less Stardust during community days, so a good chance to trade and work on your platinum gentleman and pilot medals. And with all of the lure modules that trainers put down on community day, you will be getting extra spawns, so you've got more opportunity to get double XL and double XS Pokemon for your jumbo and tiny platinum medals. And with all of the candy you get for the featured Pokemon from this event, you could evolve some of them to work on your platinum scientist medal as well. And the field research on community day is always really easy. It's just catch 3 of the featured Pokemon, so this is a really good chance to progress your Pokemon Ranger medal. And research days will be really good for this as well, because the research is also normally pretty easy and it rewards Pokemon that have a 1 in 10 shiny rate. And for any of the raiding platinum medals, I do recommend taking advantage of raid hours and raid days. Also, there is a Team Go Rocket takeover once per season, and these can help you with your Team Go Rocket platinum medals and a couple of the tasks for leveling up as well that I will be going through later on in this video. Now, other than the 15 platinum medals you need for the level 71 requirements, you also need to make 999 nice throws, which generally you are just going to get naturally through gameplay. But there are some things to note about this. You don't actually have to catch the Pokemon, you just have to land the nice throw. So if you do find a Pokemon with an orange or red catch circle, meaning it has a low catch rate, you could use a Pokeball, which is the lowest catch rate ball, and maybe a Nanab Berry to stop it from moving, and keep throwing nice throws because it probably will break out because of its low catch rate, so you can just repeat the process. And in particular, legendary Pokemon from 5-star raids are really good for this because of how low their catch rates are. I do also recommend having at least a great level buddy set as your buddy, so it can give you catch assist, where it can rebound the Pokeball back to the Pokemon you're trying to catch if it knocks it away. And you will also need to power up a legendary or mythical Pokemon 20 times, and there is a little trick for this task that can save you a lot of raid passes. So with Meltan being a mythical Pokemon, it will count towards this requirement, and you can get an unlimited amount of Meltan and Meltan candy for free. This is through the mystery box. So you used to need a Nintendo Switch and a copy of Pokemon Let's Go Eevee or Pikachu, and send a Pokemon from Pokemon Go to one of those games to get the mystery box in Pokemon Go. But now all you need to do is download the free Pokemon Home app for your phone, make a Nintendo ID and link it to your Pokemon Go account. Then you can send a Pokemon from Pokemon Go to Pokemon Home to receive a mystery box in Pokemon Go. This item does work in a similar way to Incense, but it only spawns Meltan to your location for 60 minutes. You will get a Meltan encounter roughly once a minute, even when stationary, and this mystery box does have a cooldown of around 3 days. So after the 3-day cooldown, you then need to send another Pokemon and you will be able to open it again. And you can repeat this process as many times as you want. And the idea here is that you catch a few low-level Meltan and power each of them up a couple of times, because lower-level Pokemon require less Stardust to power up. So you will be saving a lot of Stardust doing this method, and because you can catch so many, you do have the candy to power up Meltan really easily. Other than this, if you do have a legendary in mind that you want to power up to use for raid attacking, max battles, or go battle league for example, then you could just power that up. You could even use rare candy on it if you wanted to, but it will take more Stardust to power up a Pokemon the higher level it is, so powering up low level Meltan will save you a lot of Stardust. And the last task for this level is to catch 100 Pokemon in a day, which isn't too bad, and you will probably just get this through normal play. And if you do use the Meltan box, you will be able to get around 60 Pokemon from that, so that's over half that you need for that day. Moving on to the level 72 requirements, you will need 20 Platinum medals. And there will also be a time gate for this level, because you will need to complete a route 7 days in a row. And as they have to be done in a row, do make sure you set a reminder or something to make sure you don't forget, because if you do miss a day, you will have to completely restart again. It's a good idea to try and find a short nearby route for this if you can, or you can actually make a route for yourself if you want to. To do this, you need to go to the nearby menu, go to the route tab and tap create new route, and follow the steps to submit your own route. Do bear in mind that you do actually have to walk the route you wish to make. You will also need to use a super effective charge attack 200 times. So you can do this through normal gameplay in trainer battles, go battle league, raids, gym battles, Particles, Team Rocket, etc. But there is a really quick way to get this done. You can fight against the team leaders Blanche, Spark or Candela by tapping Battle on the main menu and scrolling down to the bottom. Then use a Pokemon that has a moveset that allows for quick charging of a charge attack, and it does super effective damage to the Pokemon the leaders use. And keep using that super effective charged attack, but don't swipe the screen when doing the charge attack so it doesn't power up and become stronger. That way you can use more charge attacks per battle. Then just repeat this as many times as you need to. And lastly, for this level you do need to earn 1 million Stardust, and for this I would recommend taking advantage of community days if they have the 3x catch Stardust bonus, which they often do, but this bonus does rotate out. You also usually have 1 spotlight hour per month that gives 2x catch Stardust, and sometimes general events give Stardust bonuses as well, so using a star piece during all of these events will be efficient. I would also recommend keeping an eye out for Stardust boosted Pokemon in the wild, or particularly in field research, because if you encounter one from field research you can run from it to stack them in your field research stack, and then you can go through your stack and catch all of them when there is a Stardust bonus active and you have a star piece active. Also, if you are a Go Battle League player, you can get some Stardust from win rewards, and there is a Go Battle weekend all week, usually once per season, that offers 4 times Stardust from win rewards, so do keep an eye out for that as well. And if there are any hatch Stardust bonuses or hatch distance bonuses, it might be worth hatching batches of 12 eggs, because being the largest distance egg, it gives the most amount of Stardust per hatch, and doing a batch of 12 can get you a lot of Stardust all in one go. Otherwise, just catching as many Pokemon as you can will eventually get this one done. We then have the level 73 requirements, which do require you to have 25 platinum medals, and also you need to purify 100 shadow Pokemon. Now it goes without saying that Team Go Rocket takeovers will be ideal here, because Team Go Rocket will be appearing more frequently at Pokestops and in balloons. However, this type of event only really happens every 3 to 6 months, so outside of this event, make sure you're doing your Team Go Rocket balloons every 6 hours if you can, and keep checking the overworld map for glitching Pokestops that have been taken over by Team Go Rocket. And purifying can actually cost quite a lot of Stardust, so I do recommend purifying some low purification cost Pokemon if you can. Pokemon like Zubat, Weedle and Rattata, etc., which do have the lowest Stardust purification cost being 1000. You will also need to power up 3 Pokemon to their max CP, and again Meltan is very useful for this. You see, for a normal catch or transfer you can get between 0 to 3 Candy XL at random, and you need 296 Candy XL to power up a Pokemon from level 40 to 50. However, for a mythical or legendary Pokemon, you do also get a guaranteed 3 Candy XL for catching it, plus the 0 to 3 you would normally get, meaning you can get between 3 and 6 Candy XL per catch. And Meltan is perfect for this because you can catch as many of them as you want from a mystery box that resets every 3 days, so you will effectively have unlimited free Candy XL for Meltan that builds really quick. So if you don't have enough Candy XL to max out any other Pokemon, Meltan again is a great Pokemon to utilize. Alternatively, community days will also help with this, because if you are using the quick catch method and you are playing in areas with a lot of spawns, it's a good chance to get the total 296 Candy XL from just catching the Pokemon during the 3 hours of the event. Occasionally there is also a seasonal bonus that gets you a guaranteed Candy XL per trade, so if you do keep a lot of Pokemon you can trade up to 100 per day, which is 100 XL candy. And even without the seasonal bonus you can get a guaranteed Candy XL per trade if you trade 2 Pokemon that were caught over 100 kilometers away from each other. Hatching 7-kilometer eggs from gifts from friends can help with this, and remote raiding can help as well. And lastly, for this level you do need to win 30 raids, which if you are a free-to-play player could take you up to a month to do, but I would recommend playing raid days if you can, because there is normally at least 1 per month, and they do give you 5 free raid passes to play the raid day with, so that's going to speed up the process for you. You also have a chance to get a free remote raid pass from the weekly research breakthrough, so always worth doing that. And generally it's worth saving up your Poké Coins from gyms to buy raid pass bundles, which will help speed things up a little. Occasionally as well you do get free Poké Coins from the monthly Go Pass. Moving on to the level 74 requirements, you do need 30 platinum medals for this one, and you will need to level up max moves 20 times. And if it is the same as in the past, unlocking a max move doesn't count as leveling up a max move, so you will need to level them from level 1 to 2 or 2 to 3. It takes 600 max particles and between 100 and 130 candy to go from level 1 to 2, and to go from level 2 to 3 it requires 800 max particles and between 40 and 55 XL candy. So with XL candy being a lot harder to get than regular candy, it may be easier to level up multiple moves from 1 to 2 instead of going all the way from 1 to 3. And do remember that you can only collect 800 max particles per day. And occasionally you do get max particles from the Go Pass and from timed research as well, and these don't count for the collection limit, so you can get these on top of the 800 that you can get per day. I would highly recommend taking advantage of max battle days and max battle weekends, where sometimes the cost for powering up and unlocking max moves is reduced, and you can collect and hold more max particles than normal. And often the amount of particles you get from visiting a power spot are increased by quite a lot, so definitely worth keeping an eye out for these these events. You do also need to explore 200 kilometers, and there isn't really a way to make this one quicker, but just do make sure that you have Adventure Sync enabled so it calculates distance traveled even when you don't have the game open. And lastly, for this level, you do need to complete 250 research tasks. Now, like I mentioned before, community days and research days are generally going to be the best times to do these because of how easy and quickly you can complete a lot of research tasks. Do note, however, you can only do one field research task per Pokestop per day, and to know which Pokestop you've completed a task from, you can tap on a Pokestop and you will see this icon that means you've completed a task from that stop today. So go into areas where there are a lot of Pokestops so you can do more tasks will get this one done more quickly. Now, for the level 75 requirements, you do need 34 platinum medals, and you will need to hatch 75 eggs as well. Now, of course, this is going to be a lot easier if you buy a lot of incubators and super incubators, but it's not really worth doing that unless you're trying to do this as fast as possible or you're trying to hatch something in particular. However, if you are a free-to-play player, or if generally you just don't want to spend money on incubators, because really there are better things to spend money on if you are going to, then you do get your free infinite use incubator, and you do now get a daily adventure egg that you will receive every day that you can hatch after only 1 kilometer walked, and it does give you 10,000 XP as well, so this is going to be a great feature to take advantage of for this. Do note though, you can only have 1 daily adventure egg at a time, so you will need to hatch one to get the next one on the next day. For the make 999 great throws, I will refer back to the 999 nice throws task for the level 71 requirements that I talked about before. But also, if you are struggling with great throws in particular because they are a little bit more difficult to get the nice throws, then I do recommend Nana berries to stop the Pokemon from moving, or you could use Black Kyurem's free shock adventure effect to do the same thing, but it is less accessible because you do need Black Kyurem and you do need Kyurem candies to do it. I do also recommend looking out for Pokemon that have bigger catch circles to make this easier, and a lot of legendary Pokemon from 5-star raids do have big catch circles, so definitely a good way to progress this as fast as possible because their low catch rate means you will be able to get a few great throws per catch. And lastly, for the level 75 tasks, you will need to send 500 gifts to friends, and this one is generally going to take a minimum of 5 days because you can only send up to 100 gifts per day. But of course, you can only hold a certain amount of gifts at a time, which was 20 but now increased to 35 by the time you get to level 70, and I believe increased to 40 by the time you're doing this task. So you would need to send gifts and refill your gifts a few times to send the max per day. And if you don't have enough people on your friends list to send the max amount of gifts, you can always try Discords, Facebook groups, Reddit, etc. to try and find more people to add. You can also add people after a raid as well if you complete it with them, so that's a useful way to get more people on your friends list. For the level 76 requirements, you will need to get 38 platinum medals, and you will need to defeat 100 Team Go Rocket grunts. And as I mentioned before with the purification task, Team Go Rocket takeovers will be the best opportunity with Team Go Rocket spawning more frequently. You will also need to explore 300 kilometers, and again, there's no way to shorten this, but again, do make sure you have Adventure Sync enabled. And lastly, for this one, you will need to catch 200 Pokemon in a single day, and generally this isn't going to be too bad. You can use the Meltan box to get 60 encounters while stationary. You can use your daily incense, regular incense, catch Pokemon you haven't caught from the Go Pass yet, or any Pokemon in your field research stack, etc. And again, events like Community Day are going to be really useful for this because there are often a lot of lure modules about, so you will be able to get more spawns. Origin Palkia's Spatial Ren adventure effect may be useful for this as well because it does expand the encounter radius, meaning you can reach and catch more Pokemon in a given area. For the level 77 requirements, you will need 41 platinum medals, and you will need to power up 7 Pokemon to their max. Again, Meltan is great for this because the box does cool down every 3 days, so you can get a lot of XL candy really easily for it, although it is best to power up Pokemon you are going to use if you can, but if you haven't got enough XL candy for them, then Meltan is a good option. You will also need to win 100 max battles, and this will take a bit of time, but it's best to do 1-star max battles for this because you can do 3 or 4 of these per day for free because they only cost 250 max particles to battle, whereas 3 stars require 400 max particles and 4, 5 and 6-star max battles require 800 max particles to battle. And as I mentioned, for the level 74 requirements, taking advantage of max battle weekends and max battle days for this. And lastly, for this level, you will need to make 10 trades with Pokemon caught at least 300 kilometers apart. A good way for this is to trade Pokemon that you've hatched from 7-kilometer eggs that you get from gifts from people who live in other places around the world. Alternatively, you can use a remote raid pass to raid a Pokemon from far away and trade that with a locally caught Pokemon. For the level 78 requirements, you need 44 platinum medals, and you will need to earn 400 hearts with your buddy. Now, this is going to be a lot easier if you use Poffins because it will raise your buddy to its excited state where it can earn more hearts to normal. However, as Poffins are premium items, alternatively, you can get your buddy to the excited state without using a Poffin, but you do have to use this method, which generally will take a lot more time and effort. Once you've earned a certain amount of hearts with your buddy, you could then swap to another buddy and repeat the process, and you can swap buddies up to 20 times per day. And also, working on multiple buddies will also help you with your shiny Jirachi masterwork research if you haven't completed completed that yet, where it does require you to get 10 best buddies. But as the next task is actually explore 400 kilometers, it will take a while. So you will have a good amount of time to work on your buddy Pokemon at the same time as this. And lastly, for this level, you do need to complete 500 field research tasks, and I will refer back to the level 74 task here because it's pretty much the same advice. Moving on to the level 79 requirements, you will need 47 platinum medals, and you will need to beat a Team Go Rocket leader 30 times as well. And to challenge a rocket leader, you do need a rocket radar, which requires you to beat 6 grunts to get enough mysterious components to make it. This is going to be another one which is a lot easier during Team Go Rocket takeovers. Do note though, you can purchase rocket radars from the in-game shop for Pokecoins if you want to speed it up. There may also be bundles including rocket radars that are better value, especially during Team Go Rocket events. And some event tickets do also get you rocket radars as well. I will refer back to level 76 and level 73 requirements for these tasks as well. And you will also need to hatch 100 eggs, which is going to take up a lot of time if you aren't purchasing incubators. But again, you do have your infinite incubator and daily adventure egg, which is pretty much all you'll be able to use if you are a free-to-play player. Do make sure to also take advantage of events that offer reduced hatch distances like community days, which sometimes have quarter hatch distance, and do also keep an eye out for hatch days which feature 2-kilometer eggs that are the quickest to hatch. And lastly, for this level, you do need to obtain 50 lucky Pokemon in trades. Now for this one, you pretty much just need to get your trade reps in. You can do 100 trades per day, and generally 5% of these will be lucky trades. However, getting to level 70 does give you an increased chance of becoming lucky friends with best friends that you have. And when you become lucky friends, your next trade is a guaranteed lucky trade. So the more best friends you have and the more of them that you interact with, the more likely you are to get these guaranteed lucky trades. You do, however, currently need to be in person to do trades, but I do believe it has been data mined that remote trading will be coming to the game in the future, which will seemingly allow you to trade remotely with best friends. So when this does come to the game, it will be a big help with getting these lucky trades, because at the moment, getting to lucky friends only really works with people you can interact with locally. The remote trading feature, however, hasn't been confirmed by the Pokemon Go team, so it is subject to change or it might not happen at all. And lastly, for the level 80 requirements, you need 50 platinum medals, and one of the tasks you need to complete is win 80 trainer battles in Go Battle League. So there are a few ways you can go about this. Firstly, I recommend checking PV Poke to see which Pokemon are highest ranking for whichever league you're going to play in. Out of the 3 main leagues, I would recommend doing the Great or the Ultra League unless you put quite a bit of money into the game, because the Master League is dominated mostly by legendary and mythical Pokemon, which do require a lot of money to max out. On PV Poke, you can also check the best moveset for the Pokemon, its perfect PvP IVs, and not only that, but you can look through team suggestions that are doing generally well in the season, so it's worth looking at these and trying to use one of these teams instead of just randomly throwing one together. And if you are rank 1 and haven't done many battles this season, doing this will probably put you ahead of quite a few lower ranked trainers, so you do have a good chance of getting a good few wins early on in the ranks. However, if you do start to lose a lot and you aren't in much of a rush to get to 80, you could wait until the season resets to get some early rank wins. But generally, because the game uses the ELO system, based on your performance, it will pair you against players that have a similar skill level. There is also a strategy called tanking, where people lose a load of battles in a row on purpose to get paired with people of lower skill level so they can get more easy wins that way. And normally you can only do 25 battles per day, but during events like Go Battle Weekends or Go Battle Weeks, this is increased to 100 battles per day, so you can do more matches to potentially win and improve. A good tip as well, if there is a new event that features a new or existing strong Pokemon for Go Battle League, like for example if there is a strong Go Battle League Pokemon featured for Community Day, you could make a team that counters that Pokemon specifically, because there is a good chance that a lot of people will have it and want to use it after the Community Day. And to get to level 80, you do also need to make 999 excellent throws, and I will refer back to the level 75 and 71 requirements for this, where you had to make 999 great and nice throws respectively, because some of those tips will be useful here as well. As I mentioned, using Black Kyurem's Adventure Effect is useful, but for excellent throws, I do recommend using White Kyurem's Iceburn Adventure Effect, which does slow down the catch circle of a Pokemon when it gets small to give you more time to land an excellent throw. And another tip that works well for all 3 of these level requirements, but will probably be most relevant for excellent throws, is using the circle lock technique. So to do this, when you're in a Pokemon encounter and you're holding the Pokeball ready to throw it, wait until the catch circle gets small enough to be able to get an excellent throw, and then take your finger off the ball without dropping it and wait for the Pokemon to use its animation. Halfway through the animation, throw the ball and the circle will have locked in the place that you set it earlier. This is a super useful technique for catching Pokemon from 5-star raids as well, and when you master it, you can get a lot of excellent throws per legendary encounter. Like for example with this Shadow Mewtwo that I'm trying to catch on screen here, it took me many excellent throws with golden raspberries to catch it, but I was able to hit the excellent throw every time because of the circle lock technique. And with that said, if you did find this video helpful, then I recommend checking out this video on the screen next, and I'll catch you in the next one.